Now, for more on the United States elections, I'm joined by Grant Masterson. He is the head of program for political institutions at the Electoral Institute for Sustainable Democracy in Africa. Good to have you with us this afternoon as we continue focusing on the U.S. elections. There is one issue that Smoo, our politics editor, just touched on there towards the end that I want to pick up. If we look at the U.S. electoral system now with the electoral college votes versus the popular vote, can one actually confidently say that this is a democratic system?
Hey, good afternoon, Thami. Nice to talk to you again. Look, I think that while the American system is clearly going through some challenges right now, those challenges seem to be primarily related to the person of President Donald Trump himself. And those who are supporting his claims of irregularities and fraud and who are trying to do things that I think most people in America would describe as un-American and undemocratic. So I'm not overly concerned about the overall health of the American democratic system at this stage. Obviously, what has happened this week has put some strain on that system. But the underlying fundamentals of America's democracy appear to be holding and appear to be intact for now.
If we look at this definition of democracy, here's one that I've found and that I'll use for the purposes of this conversation. It says, democracy is control of an organization or a group by the majority of its members. If we put this in context of the American voting system, we found, for example, in 2016 that the popular vote, the majority of Americans had actually voted for Hillary Clinton. And we are finding that now as well with Joe Biden, enjoying the popular vote and enjoying what the polls are stipulating. But in the same situation as Clinton, should Biden not win, will this not be an affront to a vote by the people and one person, one vote?
Yeah, look, the conflation of majoritarianism and democracy is quite common. Certainly, I think in most democracies, the principle that the majority should decide is an established policy or an established principle in particular democratic systems. But it's not correct to say that a democracy is the majority rules. A democracy is, in actual fact, a set of rules that are agreed to before the competition for an election takes place that will determine the process for electing your candidates to govern, in essence. And so as long as the rules that are predetermined and pre-agreed are followed to come to the conclusion of that democratic process, that is in actual fact what a democracy is. And as we're seeing in America, it's not actually uncommon for the majority popular vote to actually go against the finally elected candidate. Certainly it happened for Donald Trump, it's happened previously for George W. Bush, and it's happened approximately 6 times in America's history. It's a product of the unusual electoral college system that they have, but it's a system that Americans trust, that they understand, and it was designed with specific context in mind. And so certainly, while it does look strange to us here in South Africa, we are very familiar with the one person, one vote majority rule for the selection of our leaders. That's how we understand democracy. It's not how the Americans understand it. And as far as we can tell, this system seems to work for the Americans, so they've kept it.
And a very clear distinction there to be made. Thank you very much for your insight and your contribution to that particular topic. That's Grant Masterson, the head of programming at the Political Institute and Processes at ESA.